Hello everybody, Nova here. So I was originally gonna make this video after Christmas, but right now I don't have the motivation to finish No Way Home. I have motivation to do this because I have the stuff prepared to make this video. So I'm just gonna make this video now. So this is gonna be a bit more of a personal one, and by the title, you'll see that it's about my biological father, who for the rest of the time I'll be referring to as Voldemort. So when my mom met Voldemort, she was 17 and it was at a party, and my parents have about a 10-year age gap, so he was 27. So immediately it was a grooming situation. Because of how my mom was raised, even though she saw the signs that he was not a good person, she believed he was what she deserved. When my older sibling and my only sibling first came out as gay, which I'm not sure I was actually born yet, I might have been, I was just too young to remember, Voldemort got really pissed, and he's not even their biological dad. We have different fathers, thank goodness. And the reason I bring that up is because I am part of the LGBTQIA plus community myself, and I'm scared if I come out to him and most of his side of the family, me or my mom is going to get hurt. But anyways, the earliest memories I have of him is him telling me that my mom was cheating, which at the time I had no idea what that meant, but I knew it was bad, and it definitely made me hate my mom for a bit. When I was 5, I remember hearing my parents fighting in the middle of the night. I remember something breaking, and that was one of the first times I felt genuine fear. The next day, I remember Voldemort asking me if I heard anything, and I lied and said no. I think deep down, I knew that if I did say yes, he was gonna spin it on my mom again. As I grew, I didn't question why he acted like this, because my mom acted like everything was fine, and again, I kind of hated her at the time, and my only friends were kids of family friends who for some reason treated Voldemort like he was a fucking god. Another thing he would do was smoke with me in the car and play music I should not be listening to at the time. It had a lot of swears and mentions of really violent things, and I still can't get most of it out of my head till this day, even though it's been a long time since I've heard any of those songs. It wasn't until my 7th birthday party where I finally started to see the truth. I was upset about something dumb, like kids do, and I said it was the worst party ever. My mom, who had paid for anything since someone didn't have a job, overheard me. She went into her room and started crying. Instead of talking to me normally, he dragged me over and made me apologize for something I didn't even mean to do. I was 7, and I was just upset about a game of tag. And that fucker dragged me in front of everybody to make me say sorry when I was just trying to get my emotions out. It wasn't until when the world finally started to go back to normal after COVID, and when I went back to school, that I finally realized the full extent that I was being abused. I think that it was mainly because I made my first real friends, who I'll call Lizard and Ducks. People who actually cared about me, who liked me for me, but I was still scared to speak up about what was happening. and middle school is when things got worse. I was getting older and my body was maturing, and I noticed Voldemort starting to get more touchy with me, and it made me super uncomfortable. His threats to hurt me got worse, and I finally started to reach out to my school counselor about what was happening. One day in like 7th grade, on about April 18th, I was finally called in and I finally told someone about the abuse. It felt so good to finally get that off my chest. My counselor called my mom, and long story short, CPS got involved. We filed a police report and we kicked Voldemort out. Not even like a week after we kicked him out, he started sending me texts that made him seem more like a possessive ex rather than a father. And then again, not even a week later, my cat Jake died. The thing is, the day he died, my mom was at work, I was at friends, and he was there getting his stuff. He had kept saying he was going to kill cats for years, so do I believe he killed mine? Yes. Yes, I do. But it left me in a bad mental state, and it was my first time ever thinking about suicide. And then later, like a few months, my mom came into my room asking if she knew about a video he had, and I was super confused. Turns out he had a video of me singing in the shower that he took without my consent. So that was like the final nail of the coffin for me believing that he might be a pedophile. There was some other stuff he did, like this took me forever to actually figure out because of trauma, but I remember one night he was upset at me for something and he said, "I'm going to leave," and I thought he did, so I stayed in my room and cried, holding one of my stuffies, and then he came back in saying like, "Oh, so you really don't care about me? All you care about is these stupid stuffies." And I was like, I didn't actually say this, but in my mind I was just like, "No, I thought you left me." And then later, I think it was like the next day, I came home from school, the fireplace was going, and he said he burned my favorite stuffed animals. I think this is where my fear of being abandoned and why I became like a big hoarder for a while is because of those moments. He didn't actually burn anything of mine. He was just saying that to scare me, but it still hurt. Anyways, that's really all I had planned for this. Thank you for letting me talk about it.